I was going to say that I have recently written a book of Dharma talks, and called Sharing the Dharma. And so this is one of those. Kind of the inspiration behind this was I had been keeping outlines for Dharma talks for a long time, and so that whenever Miyoto said, "Hey Minwei, it's your turn. Give us a Dharma talk," or like this week, she would say, "Hey, I'm going to be out of town. Can you do something?" So I always wanted to have something ready and in my pocket so I could fall back on something. Um, anyway, so I had all these outlines, and I decided, you know what? I'm going to take these outlines and I'm going to write a Dharma talk at the end of each of them, and then publish. It turned out to be 18 of them, and then publish these 18 Dharma talks with the outlines, so that it's like a teacher's manual. A teacher can just pick it up, either use the outline itself and give a Dharma talk if they don't have anything prepared, or there's a Dharma talk at the end of it that will either allow them to either use that or use that as their own study guide or something. So anyway, I recently, just a week or two ago, I published this on Amazon, and it's called Sharing the Dharma. And
Cool.
so anyway, this is one of those talks. One of those talks that Miyoto had challenged me to be prepared to give at any moment. And it's called The Six Senses, Six Consciousnesses, and Six Dusts. And she wanted me to be prepared to give this talk at any moment's notice. And so I took my outline to that and I wrote a Dharma talk on it. And so I'm going to deliver it to you guys tonight. Maybe as practice, so if she ever puts me on the spot, you'll be familiar with what I'm trying to say when I say it. Now, the great thing about this topic that Miyoto had given me, the six senses, the six consciousnesses, and the six dusts, is that we chant this every week in the Heart Sutra. And so this is all going to sound very familiar to you when we talk about no eyes, no ears, no nose, no tongue, etc. You're going to say, hey, that's all in the Heart Sutra. And it is. But there's a lesson behind this, a lesson of impermanence, a lesson of emptiness that I hope rings a bell to you. So in the Zen tradition, we often remind ourselves that awakening is not located in some far off distant world, some far off distant time in our life, some far off existent exotic realm. Awakening is found right here in our moment to moment contact with the world. We can only experience nirvana right now in the present moment. And we have to wake up to that. And remember, it's right here, right now. To help us navigate this immediate reality, classical Buddhism provides us with a structure. This model that we chant in the Heart Sutra of the six sense bases, the six sense objects, and the six sense consciousnesses. This framework that the Buddha set up is not some academic theory. It is really and truly a real life understanding and observation of how human experience actually forms and how delusion takes root in every waking second of our day. To understand this map that the Buddha set up for us, we have to examine where these things interlock and how they create our perceptions of the sensory world. So the six sense bases are, as I said, the eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind, which in Buddhism we consider the mind one of those sense organs. So the five senses that you learned in school plus the mind. And what are the six sense objects? Those are what we call the dusts. And why do we call them dusts? Because they are transitory, they're impermanent, they land and they block our mirror, so to speak. These are the things that just occur moment to moment. And that is form, that's what we see. Sound, that's what we hear. Smell, of course. Taste, touch, and thoughts or mental objects. And we chant these in the Heart Sutra. Those things, what does the eye see? The eye sees forms, right? What does the ear hear? The ear hears sounds. So all of these things that we hear or see or taste or touch, they're all impermanent. They're all fleeting moments. Oh, I smell my coffee cooking, right? It's that scent that we smell. But then what are the 6 consciousnesses? The 6 consciousnesses are when our mind says that smell, oh, that's my coffee. We start putting a label or a concept or an idea to whatever it is we see or hear or taste or touch or think about. So we have these 6 bases, these 6 sense objects that we call the dusts, and we have these 6 consciousnesses. And they are with us every second of every day. Experience does not exist independently out there in the world, and it doesn't independently exist just here in our own minds. It arises dynamically in the exact moment when that which is out there touches our senses. That's experience. So poor Kenton, when he chopped his thumb, that experience, it wasn't just the sound of the blade, right? But it was when the blade hit the body and created the pain, created the blood shot out. All those things were part of the experience. Each one by themselves did not give us the experience, but when one touches the other, we have an experience. When my eye sees form, when my eye sees you on my screen, I then interpret, right? My mind then goes into consciousnesses. That's Monica that's sitting in front of me. Oh, that's Marion sitting in front of me. It becomes a conscious sight. You see? So in a few minutes, if I turn my head away, I don't see you anymore. I don't have that form, right? So again, we have, my eyes are still there, but I'm not seeing the same thing. So moment to moment, we have a new experience because we sense something with our sense bases, and then we interpret it. We become conscious of it. The traditional term for the objects of our senses, as I mentioned, is dusts. A word that really has a deep intent. Dust suggests impermanence, insignificance, or the subtle way worldly things cling to us and it obscure our innate clarity. The senses themselves are entirely innocent. Entirely innocent. The problem lies in our tendency to stick to what we perceive. A classic Zen metaphor reminds us that the mirror of the mind is originally clear and dust only settles when we stop paying attention. Delusions are what result when we cling to these dusts, when we cling to these mental objects. Delusion forms through a predictable, lightning-fast chain reaction. Consider how a simple notification sound on your phone traps the mind. The ear base meets the sound object, triggering ear consciousness. The mind instantly registers the sound with a pleasant experience, a pleasant flavor, if you would. And then our reaction. That, my phone's in my pocket, or I would, let me see if I can grab it out of my pocket. That immediate craving, oh, I got a message, I better check it. Right? We become victims of our own consciousness. Your phone, whatever it is, it used to be, old school, you've got mail. And then you wanted to check it. Now it's just, I don't know, whatever your phone does. Ding, ding, ding. And then you're like, oh, who did I get a message from? Right? Immediately, we have that craving to just take a look at it. And then the mind spins into a story, anticipating the message. Oh, I was expecting a message from my niece or from my boss. Oh no, they better not be asking me to come back to work today. I'm done. I've already worked 7 hours, whatever. We start creating these attachments, these cravings, these curiosities, these emotions, because we have that craving to check it out. Why? Because we heard a sound and we immediately registered that sound as a message. And so we drop everything and start spiraling into this distraction. Whatever you were doing. Yeah, you're stirring your pot of spaghetti sauce or whatever you're doing, and then the doorbell rings. And then you're like, who's at the door? What am I going to do? I don't want to burn my sauce. If I turn it off, it won't mix right. Whatever. And we decide in that instant, am I going to go answer the door? Am I going to ignore it and hope they go away? Am I going to turn off the stove? It becomes this whole cycle of action and reaction, all because of a sound that we hear. These processes that happen with our sensory experiences also happen with our mental experiences. A thought might arise in our mind. I'm not doing enough. I should practice more. I should go visit so-and-so. I should call in sick for work tomorrow. Whatever. We get these thoughts that arise in our minds. The thought is simply dust passing across that sixth sense base of the mind. And suffering itself does not belong to the thought. Suffering is born from our automatic habit of grasping onto the thought. In Zen, our approach to this sensory machinery of our body, of our mind, whatever, is to not shut down our senses or retreat from the world. True practice means meeting our senses clearly, practicing what the teachings call just seeing, just hearing, just thinking. We treat our thoughts exactly like sounds or smells, as passing phenomena rather than absolute commands or ultimate truths. This shift in perspective can be profoundly liberating. Because if you have a thought, and that thought is bothering you, think of it simply as a form, a sound, a smell, a taste, a touch. It's just temporary. How we grasp onto it is what causes the suffering. And you can think of that. You can think of thoughts that you might have, thoughts that cause you anguish. And yet it's just a thought. And in Zen, we try to learn to just recognize it's just a thought, let it go. Don't grasp it. Don't hang on to it. Don't dwell on it. We do not polish the mirror of the mind to keep it perpetually sterile, because the dust of life will always come back. Always. Our practice is simply to notice the dust without attachment. True spiritual freedom appears at the very moment of sensory contact, right before our habitual reaction kicks in. Right here in the immediate seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, the Dharma is completely alive. As we'll see when we talk in another Dharma talk about the 12-link chain of dependent origination, this moment of contact is the precise intersection where our automatic conditioning can either ignite a lifetime of habit or dissolve into immediate spaciousness. You smell coffee brewing. If you're like me and you like coffee, your mouth might start to water. You might, I could use a good cup of coffee right now. I think I'll drop everything I'm doing and go in and get it. That, in and of itself, is just an example. But coffee's not going to cause me harm unless it's 10 o'clock at night and I think I need to sleep. But these things occur to us all the time. Some bloke cuts you off in traffic. That's when we cling to it. All it really was one car moving in front of another. How we react to it, whether we allow it to boil our anger up, is all just a temporary mental state. All from one stimulus of a car pulling in front of you in the fast lane. How we grasp onto it, how we cling to it, is what causes suffering. And how we learn not to cling to it is how we alleviate suffering, how we free ourselves. We can practice this direct meeting of sense object, of dust, of sense consciousness, by just bringing awareness to our immediate surroundings. Notice one single sensory experience occurring right now. Marian's cold water going to her mouth as she drinks. One experience. Coolness on the tongue. Maybe it's a distant sound you just heard, a bird outside. There's construction going on next door to me, so I hear bang, bang, bang all the time. But try to meet this experience cleanly, without adding story, judgment, or preference. I could be sitting here saying, that bang, bang, bang next door as they're doing construction drives me nuts. I can't stand it. It's interfering with my practice. Or I can just accept it. Let it go. It's just background noise. It all depends on how I want to receive it. When we see dust, these temporary experiences, for what they really are, totally impermanent, they totally lose their power to obscure the mirror. So, when you think about this, when we're chanting the Heart Sutra, understand, we're chanting not that there is no sound, no smell, no taste. It's not that no in the negative sense. It's no in the sense that it's totally impermanent. It's totally dependent. It doesn't exist in and of itself. It exists within our consciousness of how we receive it and whether or not we grasp onto it and make it an issue or just let it go.